So there's been a couple YouTube videos about this little piece of hardware that sticks on this disc. It's called the tech disc, and it's opened up a whole new world of possibilities for disc golfers to know your throw and know your numbers. That's what we say here at Seekr. We're in the Seekr Level Up Lab in Kansas City, Missouri. Stop by. Behind you is a massive disc golf store with 200,000 discs, and people come here all the time and they want to know their numbers. If they know their numbers, they can throw the correct discs that match their form and do a couple of tweaks. And that's what we love here at Seekr Disc Golf. We've helped hundreds of disc golfers level up their disc golf games, and we're utilizing this technology here to help disc golfers improve and level up real-time stuff. So I would like to explain to you what the 6 different categories on this disc, what does it mean? How can we take that into effect? Because just because we consume and collect data doesn't mean we know what to do with it, right? So our coaches here at Seekr Disc Golf have learned what it means and can directly apply those numbers into your form and how to improve your game. So you have 6 categories up here. You have speed, spin, wobble, hyzer, anhyzer, flat. We've got nose and launch. What do each one of these categories means? Well, let me go ahead and throw just a gentle 50% throw. Let's get more updated numbers there. Okay, so here's what it looks like. We've got the speed. Obviously, that's what most people know about. That's the category we all are used to, right? 70 plus miles an hour, we're used to seeing the pros throw. You go like, man, that's the easiest, right? It is the velocity of the disc launching forward, coming out, just like a car going down the highway, and you get pulled over by a cop. Spin. Okay, now we're starting to enter into new territory. Spin is its rotation, right? Over and over and over again from the axis here in the center. How fast, how many rotations per minute happens, right? And we've seen, because we've had the pros come in here, and Seekr has the largest private library of pro form with numbers included here from the tech disc. What do the pros throw? What I just threw, 1,037, is about average. Most of the pros are well above 1,200 every time they throw with a 80% power speed throw, because we asked them throw 80% power, and that's what they get. So spin has its ability to cut through the air and glide farther, right? So think of spin in terms of the disc glide, right? And they can compensate for each other. Wobble is its ability to flutter, go up and down, right? And so a low or good wobble is anything below 4 or 5. I just got a 4.3. And so its ability to cut through the air more if you have a lower wobble, right? If you're doing this, it's going to create more drag and lag, right? Especially when it's windy. So wobble, its ability to flop up and down. Hyzer, your nose, your angle at which you're releasing. A lot of people have a hyzer throw. You just saw an 8.2. That is a hyzer typical of a backhand throw. Like most, we have a natural release of hyzer. About 80% of the people, we've collected thousands of throws here from individuals from MA2, MPO to FPO to MA3. Most people have a hyzer release. About 20% actually have a flat release, which is kind of cool to see. Then the nose angle. What's the nose angle versus the last category, the launch angle, right? What's the difference? That doesn't make sense, right? So here's something to help you really quick. The nose angle can actually be down, and the launch angle can actually be higher, okay? So you can have a low nose angle, but a high launch angle. So you can actually technically have like that. Or you can have a high nose angle and a low launch angle. A launch angle is its release point from extension. It's plane all the way to release, right? So you could launch it high, but have a nose angle low, all right? So those two play together in that way. So I did a low nose angle, but a slightly up launch angle. So nose down, and you'd have a nice flat release from that. So those are what the numbers mean. And as I already stated, from the spin, we can compensate on the disc numbers. So disc numbers have the spin or the number, the speed, it has the glide, it has the turn, it has the fade. So how do these numbers play into these numbers, the numbers on the disc versus the numbers on the screen, the 6 categories on this tech disc here? Well, we already know the spin. We can compensate. The speed obviously has to do with the speed, the first number. So if you have a mid-range, this is a 12 speed right now. This is actually 13 speed. This is a Raider. For that throw, 51 miles an hour, that I'm not going to get the best out of this disc because it's a 13 speed. Even if I throw my hardest, I'm not going to be able to get the right amount of speed for my arm, right, for my body, what I can produce to get a natural good flight out of this. Doesn't mean I can't utilize it in the correct way and utilize it for shot shaping and do flexes and big skips with hyzer. It just means I can't utilize the full flight pattern of this disc. So typically for a lower arm speed or a speed, so 51 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour, 48 miles an hour, whatever you're in that range, what you want to focus on is lower speed discs to get the more natural flight. Okay, that's pretty simple. Spin, you want to focus on a higher glide if you have a lower spin. If you have a higher spin, here you can learn to work with lower glide discs. Okay, so now what about the third category here, which is turn? What happens here when you are hyzer flipping, when you have a lower speed? Typically when we see, here's what you need to know here, when we see lower speed throwers and with a natural hyzer throw, which is most backhand players, lefty or backhand or righty, you want to stick with more understable discs. Okay, let me state that again. When we see a lower speed thrower with a natural hyzer throw, we want to stick with more understable discs. That way we can flip it up to flat. Okay, that's going to do the best for you. So you can beef up on speed 9s, probably as high as I'd go if you have a speed of under 54, 53 miles an hour. So what I just threw, I want to stick with no higher than 9, and maybe like an escape would be good. A vandal, a negative 0.5 turn, a Falk. These are all discs that would really help us to throw straight and far and get the full flight of that disc. Now, if we have a higher speed, more like 55 and above, you can start beefing up, especially if you have that natural hyzer release. All right, what does nose angle and launch angle mean for us here on these 6 categories of the numbers? How does that translate to the discs? Well, that comes into more of a form play, right? How are you launching the disc? Are you not following through enough, right? A lot of people don't follow through enough, so when they don't follow through, their launch angle is higher, right? Because they're here to here, and they stop, and that shoots the disc up. Or maybe they're not extending high enough to get into that power pocket for the launch angle. Maybe when they're coming through, their wrist is quirked a little bit or tilted, and they're not hitting the power pocket, which is leaving a nose angle down, right? The nose and the launch have more of form-related issues, and you can't necessarily change your disc to manipulate or to compensate for nose and launch. So those are what some of these numbers mean. What's really cool is if you book an online lesson with Seekr, what we can do is actually, if you have a tech disc, and when you get the tech disc, you can actually submit your numbers and we'll tell you exactly what they mean. We've helped hundreds of students and hundreds more with the disc here that have come in, and we've said, here's what you need to do based on this real-time live data. And we've gotten thousands of throws and analyzed all this, even the pros. And we've said, here's what you need to do. Here's some specific form improvements you can do to increase your numbers and to change your form. So if you have one of these things and you've pre-ordered one of the tech discs, you can submit that data directly to us and we'll tell you exactly what it means. We are the industry leader in doing so, and we are proud to partner with techdisc in that form. Stop by the Seekr Level Up Lab if you're ever in Kansas City, Missouri, or download the free app or platform. Go to seekrdiscgolf.com to download the free training platform, and we'd love to see you in our community.
Fresh.